Hey everybody, Patty Ann here, welcome. Today I'm going to show you how I'm making this really large Mickey Mouse for a Christmas decoration. And he measures, well, let me look and see, from the tippy-most part to the lowest part, he measures just about 21 inches. So I was able to make him using my 11 by 17 cover stock that I get from Staples, and I printed him on my large format printer. And I'm going to go back in time and show you how I got him ready in Silhouette Business Edition, whether you're using it for Cricut or for your Cameo. I've already glued the first two pieces together, and I'm starting to work on the third. This time I didn't put little tabs that I usually like to do. For some reason I forgot. Hey, for those of you who follow me on Patreon and you're over in our secret Facebook group, you know what my week has been like, with my ear infection still going on and breaking my leg because I was following my dog. Her name is Daisy, and like most dogs do, she was twirling around and around in the dark. It was like late at night, and I wanted to see. I was just curious for some reason, wanted to watch her twirl around and see if she actually did her business before I took her back in. And there was a little gutter or ditch on the side of the road that I couldn't see because it was filled with leaves. Well, my left foot went into the ditch and my shoe got stuck in it. So when I went to take my next step, and I didn't know this one was stuck, I went like this, and then I just got flipped around and my foot stayed there, so it broke my leg. Anyway, so I've been using this little tiny air boot. Now today I went and I got one of those big old black things. So that's what's on my leg today. But anyway, I'm just excited to be here, back down here in my little area. I had to ride my butt down the stairs because, of course, I'm not allowed to put weight on this thing. I have to use crutches. So I rode my butt down the stairs, but here I am, and I'm so excited to be back. So I've already got him, and I'll show you where I found him. He's not the very best image that I've seen because when I blew him up this big, he did get kind of blurry. I'm hoping when I put the stickles on him and decorate him that will kind of help draw your attention away from any blurriness. So as I said, I've already taped two sides of him together, and I'm on the last part. So what I do, since I didn't add that extra little piece, is I take my tape roller, and I can either go on this part and I can also, I take little snippets of the piece that was extra. Just grab little pieces. I really prefer putting the little extra tabs on, but I just forgot. I don't know. I'm probably not thinking really clearly, but I'll do this, and then I can just tear that. And then I'll put this piece. How far did I go with the tape? This isn't fitting together perfectly, but I can try to hide any imperfections on the front. So I would make two pieces of this, and actually what I better do is, before I continue on, is to at least get another white sheet to put behind him so I have something else to put the sticks on so that I can make him strong enough to stand in my little stand and glitter him all up or make him beautiful. Speaking of my boot, some people in our group suggested, hey, I think you should decorate it. And they were saying maybe rhinestones or something. So I'm trying to think of something just cute to say or cute to put on there. See, this is where it didn't quite match up. So I'm going to take a black pen, which I had out a moment ago. Here we go. And just kind of cover up these little spots with the black, because I cut where the black lines were. And this helps that you barely can see where the cut marks were made, which I love. Okay, so there he is. He's ready to go now. But as I said, I better go up to my software and make the backing piece that goes with him. He got a little off center here, and that was user error, not my machine error. But that's okay. He still looks pretty fabulous to me, and I'm ready to use him. I love him. So I'm going to go back up here to my Cameo or my Silhouette software, and I'll have you follow me there. And these are the parts that I cut him into. I should have an extra one of him over here. Uh-oh, though. did I resize him the proper size? No. So what I'm going to have to do is bring this piece over here. I'm going to right click and say bring to front. This is why you always want to make an extra duplicate to make sure that your final piece is going to be the exact right size. And maybe this will be the right size. So I got to shift this around because that's what I had to do to get it to fit on my mat. So what I'm doing now, right click and bring to front. So what I'm doing right now is just seeing is this really the right size that I need? Oops, that was weird. Hey, why is that? That is weird. All right, let's see. I think it's because of this rotation thing. All right, let's see. Rotate it. I'm almost thinking that maybe it is the right size, even though, well, maybe not. This isn't quite right. Okay. Well, I'm a little bit bummed about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just keep going back, and I actually could go to this multi-undo out here and see what happens. I wonder how far back I can go. I don't know. See, it's undoing all of those things that I did. So that looks like that's probably about right where I want to be. Because notice this is when I was just starting to do the cut to cut off his head. So let's go undo, undo, undo and get rid of that cut stuff. And now what I'm hoping is he's going to be the right size perhaps. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him down. Let's see, well, how tall is he? He's still 20.278, which I swear is not how big this guy is. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening. So I'm going to go ahead and print. No, maybe that is right. I'm going to go ahead and cut him. Let's see. I don't need the print and cut thing, registration marks on here. So I'm going to go back to the page setup, go to where I put those on and turn them off. The page size that I have is only this size. How many of him? How many sheets will I need to do? Oopsie. Okay, I kind of decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my smaller paper for the white backing of him because I don't want to waste my larger paper because I don't have that much. So I'm going to ungroup these guys. Well, I already did it, and move this aside. And I'm just going to get sheets that are 8.5 by 11 because that's how big my printer, or that's how, wait a minute. Yes, that's how big my cardstock is that I can cut, that I have to cut on my Cameo. So I'm going to go ahead and make a bunch of these. I've made one that's 8.5 by 11. I'm going to hold down my Alt key and make a few more. Don't know how many for sure I'll need. This will kind of remind you of doing things in Cricut Design Space as well. So I went ahead and right-clicked on this to send it to the back. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab both of these together, come over here to the Modify panel, and I'm going to say Divide. So it doesn't look like that did much, but it did. It took this piece right off of there. That's one of the pieces that we need. I don't need this, so I can delete it. Take up another one. I'm going to right-click to send it to the back to make sure I'm getting as much as I want. Looks fine to me. So I'm going to grab both of these again, and I'm going to say Divide. So again, it doesn't look like it did much. Whoopsie. But I have that second piece now, and I no longer need this. Delete. So I'm going to do it again, probably 3 more times. Send this to the back. Right-click, send to back. And let's see, I think maybe just 2 more times will work. So I'm going to grab both of these and say Divide. That leaves me with that little holy piece right there that I don't really want. So I'm going to release the compound path here, and that gets rid of that little holy piece, and then I'm just going to weld this thing together. So that's perfect. And I can get rid of this piece, delete on my keyboard, and hoping this is going to fit. Maybe, maybe not. Send it to the back. Yep, perfect. So one more time, I will just go like this and say divide, and I will have the last piece that I need. So I can get rid of this piece, and I can get rid of this piece. Now I'll cut these out on my 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and then I will have to tape these together as well. So if you want to see that other thing that I said I like to do sometimes to help glue these, tape these together, well, I think I'll save that for another video that I'll do. I'll just do the same thing again that I just did. So let's move these over to the side. I'll put one on here. Got to get my mat out for my cameo. And actually, this is one of the pieces that got messed up that I'm going to put in. And I'm just going to use it even though it's messed up. I don't need to worry. Whoa, I can't stand on that foot. Better not forget about that. If I put weight on my foot, the doctor says right now the bones are aligned well. If I put weight on it and they become misaligned, that would mean surgery. So I'm trying very hard to follow the doctor's orders and put no weight on my foot. So let's see. I'll just use the good paper. So let me grab that real quick. I need, what, 4 sheets was it, or 3? Can't remember. I'll get a little handful. Okay, I've gotten 4 sheets. I'll bring these right over here with my crutches. Good little patient. Puts a cramp in my style, but I'm glad I can still come down here and work. Okay. So I've got my new glue gun going too. I think I may have told you that story this week. It was been a bad week. I throw my glue gun usually into a little mug because I can't get it to stand up well in those little tiny feet. And I accidentally threw it into my coffee mug instead of my glue gun mug. All right, so I'm going to do this one first. Go ahead and put it in my cameo. And I'm going to cut out all 4 of these, and then I'll be back to join you again. So I'm going to go to send. It's going to cut this. I'm going to put it on cover stock because I'm using a very heavy cardstock. And I'm going to change the speed up a little bit because this isn't a very intricate design. So I'm going to go send, and I'll meet you when these are all done. Okay, here we are at my desktop again. I've cut out all 4 pieces that I need, and I've cut out some little strips to put them together. So I'm going to start here at the top, which is the head area, and put these together and just butt them up to each other, and then take one of these strips, and probably the easiest way to do it is to put the ATG gun, the tape on this piece, and then just go ahead and butt these together like a puzzle. Excuse me, a puzzle. And they fit together very nicely like that. See, unless you wiggle them too much. All right, there we go. So I'm just going to put this piece on here for that. And I went off over here a little bit, so I'm going to put another piece up here. I'll go over the top and then I'll trim it at the end. So I'm going to put this up here. Okay, and then I need another little piece right here probably. Well, actually I need to go away across there. So I think I'll use this piece. And that should get that pretty well. That and tear that off if I want to. And then let's see what goes here. I think this piece goes here, but before I put that on, which is this tail, I should probably put this piece on. I did have to add an extension to this piece because I ended up cutting it weirdly, meaning that it wouldn't fit on my mat. I guess I wasn't looking carefully enough when I cut it or sliced it, whatever. So there's that. So another piece about this long. And again, I'll put the tape on this piece. And this actually is a longer way to do it. If you put those little tabs on, it's quicker. But this does add a little bit more stability also to the piece. So let's see, get this matched up in that. Go off the edge a bit. There we go. Press it down. Okay, I need a piece here. That will be long enough. And as usual, I could tell you how much I love using this tape gun. If you don't have one, I have a link for them down below. Pretty good price. They're really easy to use when you're doing scrapbooking stuff or these larger than matte images. And this Mickey is going to be close to 20 inches tall, maybe even taller once I put his base on him. So he's going to be really super cute and a great Christmas decoration. Now I could have made him double-sided, but since this is just a sample to show you guys, I don't want to use all of the ink in my printer, but I figured that one side will give you the idea of how this works. Okay, let's see. I have one more little slit right here that I want to do, and that should be it then. Then I'm just going to trim around the edges. Oh, my crutches are falling over onto me. Okay, all right. So, my scissors, and this feels nice and weighty. So I'm just kind of trimming along the edge there and here where I overlap where I didn't need to. And here. Just with my scissors, getting rid of those extra pieces. And if there's any spots that I see that look like they could use a little bit more glue, I could glue them. So let's see, maybe this piece right here could use a little bit more. Just put it on this piece and stick that right down like that. And was there anything else? Maybe here. This is where I had the extra additional piece that I had to add. That should do it. Alrighty then. So there is this, and now it's ready to have my Mickey put right on here, like so. And this is going to add a lot of stability to him. So I'm going to show you how I go about doing this. And then we'll go up to my program and I'll show you how I sliced him so you can barely see where the slits were. Although I see there's some more that I need to trim off over here, but I can do that in a little bit. So first thing I'm going to do now though is I'm going to start putting the sticks on this first. So I've got my new glue gun, and by the way, the only glue sticks they had for sale was this size right here, the smaller ones, the shorter ones, and I think this gun must have to take the larger ones because it didn't seem like it was working properly. So hopefully I didn't just break it, because what I decided to do was I thought, hey, this is a glue gun. So I put some glue out on this little tab here and put my glue into this to get it hot and melty, and then stuck it together. So maybe two are sticking together right now and hopefully will work. Unless I really messed it up. I'm just going to start up here at the top, and maybe I'll need to press that in a little bit. There we go, once I get started. This one does have a better stand than my little mini one. Okay, like that. Ouch, it's hot. And maybe one here in the center. There we go. So once again, I'm using the bigger sticks because I have more of them. I did buy, I think you got like 100 in a package at the dollar store, Dollar Tree. So I did buy another pack of the smaller ones, but I still like to use these bigger ones sometimes. Okay, let's see. I'll bring one down this way. But I'll tell you what, you go through that glue really quickly. Go here. And I have tons of those little skinny glue sticks, but I'm not sure they're going to work in this little number here. Looks like I already need to add one of these fat ones. Okay, let's see if it'll go in. I don't know about this gun with this little thing. Let's see, move that over a little bit. All right, let's see. Oh, I need to get my stick. Darn it, it's way over there. Shoot. Okay, I'll be right back. Gotta get my crutches. My foot's really not bothering me, but walking around these crutches is a bit of a pain. And the neck. All right, so I have my handy dandy little stick thing and my Fisker's cutter that's really for tree branches, I guess. Works perfectly for this though, so I'm going to cut this off like that. Put the safety back on. Get this one out of the way. And I'll glue this right. Let's see, how do I want him to stand? Oh, I can't tell yet. I guess he stands right like that. Hopefully. So I'm going to put this piece right here. Okay. Looking good. Now let's see, I need to have one come out like this. And one up through here maybe. All right, where's my glue stick? There it is. I'll use a couple small ones now over here. So I don't know if you guys saw Auntie Tay yesterday talking about doing the epoxy and what your thoughts are on that. I've not done any of the epoxy. Sometimes I'm really nervous about scents and things, you know, because I don't know. I'm from the old hippie days, and I read this book a long time ago from Rachel Carson. I think it was called Silent Spring, and it was talking about DDT and all those things, and that really had a big impact on me in my life. So that's pretty good. Boy, that's a heavy son of a biscuit though, so he's not standing up that great. Wonder if I should have made this stick a lot longer. I think I'll put an extra one in the center. It's like right up through here. Right, cut it right here. Oh. That probably just killed your ears because that just hit right into my microphone. Sorry about that. I'm just going to put another one right here just for extra stabilization. Probably don't really need to, but I'm not positive, so I'm going to. Won't hurt to do it. May hurt not to do it. So put that right in there, like so. Even this thing, the little stick says, warning, cancer. It's a California thing. I don't know. Oh, that's much better. Much, much better. Okay, now I take him and I'm going to start gluing him right onto here. And then we'll start bedazzling him. So I guess I'll start up at the top. And just start putting the glue up here. Again, I'm not crazy about how this thing's working. I don't know why I'm having trouble with it. Maybe you guys know. Get this out. Oops, there it goes, falling over. Get this out. And align it quickly. There we go. Looking good, Mickey. Okay. So I'm not exactly sure why the glue's not exactly flying out. Not sure about this gun. You know where I got this gun? The other day when I had to get the steroids for my ears that are still infected. And I had to wait for 15 minutes for the prescription to be ready. So I knew I needed a glue gun, so I shopped around in Walgreens, and sure enough, they had glue guns. So I just got one there. So I'm not sure how terrific this thing's going to work for me. So far, it's not the best gun I've ever had. But at least it's serving its purpose today, so I can get on with business, how I like to do. Okay, he's looking really good. Got some pieces, like I said, to cut off over here, but he's looking good. When you do these really large things, I mean, I'm going through 2 and 3 glue sticks per guy. They're not. Okay, so this was weird. What I did, I made a mistake here. So when I did this side, and there's my stick showing through, darn it. Maybe I can get rid of that. When I cut out him, I left this part here to cut out. But when I did the backing, I left the white there, so I probably should have cut it out one place or the other, or neither. But I think I can probably fix it with my X-Acto knife. But again, this is just a sample to show you guys basically the technique that I've learned to use. And I really like doing this. So, and it's just for fun. Okay, did I get his tail weird? What's up? Oh, come apart. Quick. Yay. Okay, there we go. Oh, yeah. All right, remember the trouble I had that I hadn't already made the extra piece of him. I can see that it's not matching together perfectly, but there again, I can fix everything. So I could fix this problem as well. Okay, I'm sticking in another glue stick. Just about done. See how it turned out. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. It's looking great, you guys. And it's nice and sturdy. It's going to stand up perfectly. And now I am going to start bedazzling him. But before I do, maybe I'll cut off a few of these little extra parts that I'm really not supposed to have up here. Sorry, I have my microphone again. Okay. Need to glue his tail a little bit better. Okay, and later on off camera, I'll get my X-Acto knife and see if I can repair that. Any at all. Okay, put this tail there. All right, so I'm going to stop here and I'll get out my bedazzling stuff and we'll continue on. Okay, here are all the stickles that I have that I've bought from scrapbook.com. I love how fast they have shipping there. Usually you get the stuff within 2 or 3 days. It's perfect. They have good prices. I have a link for them down below if you want to check them out, scrapbook.com. And it's an affiliate link. If you use it, I get a little tiny smidgen of a commission, and it helps me to be able to make these projects for you. So I'm going to pick out the colors that I want to use for Mickey. So, and the ones that I have a black line around, those are my older ones. And this was Christmas red, and this. And I think I'll use some of this. This is called Stardust. Let's see, what else do I have? Diamond. Stardust might be better for his gloves. What else we got? Diamond. Crystal. I think I still like Stardust. What's this one? This one's one of the older ones that doesn't have a label on it. Okay, there's that and that. Okay, I'm not sure about his shoes. I have this yellow or a couple of golds. Let's see, what one do I think would be best? Maybe this gold, since it is Could use both maybe. Nah. Alright, do I have a green for the light bulb? Yep. And I have a really pretty blue that I love called, well, this is ice blue. That might be nice, but I think I'd rather use waterfall. And maybe waterfall on his scarf as well. I don't think I have a peachy color. I meant to purchase one, but I didn't. But, oh, yeah. Looky here, this might work. Pink taffeta, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. And then I'll use the glossy accents in his mouth and eyes. So I'm going to start in the center and work my way out, because I've learned otherwise I stick my fingers in the glitter all the time. Even if I do start in the center, I do that a lot. So I think I'll start with his scarf, do this scarf part right here. And again, I said I'm going to use waterfall. I love using stickles, because this just adds so much to these designs, you guys. If you don't have this or haven't tried them yet, wow, you don't know what you're missing. I'll tell you. Let's see. So I think I told you about my leg, and I'm supposed to stay off of it. I have a doctor's appointment in 3 weeks when he'll reevaluate it. Assuming the bones stay as they should be, I will not have to have surgery. Now, where to go next? Maybe this spot right here. I hope I'm not asking for trouble. Just kind of outline it and maybe put a few lines in it to make it really shine. You know I'm all about the glitter. I love glitter. I think I told y'all that when that Cricut sale was going on, I bought a whole bunch of stuff. Glitter, HTV. I have a pile of rhinestones. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I was thinking I would get let's see if this is going to work good. Yeah. I was thinking I was going to get a shirt, a really pretty shirt, and maybe bedazzle it myself. Haven't decided for sure yet about that, but I'm thinking about it. This looks like it could be a pretty color for his tongue too, but maybe I'll wait for that. All right, let's see what next. Don't want to do these things. I've learned a little bit of a lesson. Maybe I should do his hand. Yeah, I think I'll try his glove next. So I love making this. Have you guys made the large printouts like these? It's just so much fun. I probably shouldn't do all of the glitter on here. I should probably pause and go back to show you how I was able to cut him up nicely in silhouette. And those of you that have Cricuts, you may just want to get this program as well. It's on sale now. I'll have a link for it down below. You have to get the free version first to try it out. But if you have a Cricut machine, you'll have to use the business edition so that you can save things as SVGs. But you're going to see how easy I'm able to make offsets on these things and how easily I can cut this up. Instead of just having a straight cut across him like you would have to in Cricut Design Space when you do a slice, we're able to cut it so that you can barely even tell where the cuts were made. And that's what I think is fabulous. So I'm going to move him around, do a little bit more stickling on him, and then I'll go up top and show you up to my computer and show you how I was able to cut this thing up to get him to be perfect like this. I really enjoy this. So I've not tried the Nuvo drops yet. I know a lot of the people in our Patreon class like to use the Nuvo drops, and I haven't tried those yet. I know Stephanie loves them, and Tammy's getting to like them a lot also, and I'm pretty sure Roxana uses them. Not sure who else in our group does. Hey, and if you like to join us, please just head on over to patreon.com/PattyAnn. And it's a bargain price, I think, because we get together every Saturday for an hour-long class, but we're usually together for about an hour and a half because everybody gets to class early, so we can just kind of gab and catch up with each other and share what we've been working on. And that's at 9:30 Eastern Time every Saturday. It is recorded, so if you can't join us then, you can watch it a little bit later. But it's a lot of fun. To quote another YouTuber. Let's see. I think that I'll put the glossy, I don't know. This glossy accents seems like it takes the longest of everything to dry. So maybe I'll put a little bit more of my stickles on here, and then, like I said, go back up to my computer and let these dry a little bit. So I'll do this part. And this part of his scarf. Whoops, there goes some stickle bottles. Put a little few lines down in here just to add some more interest. And I like to outline the things like that. All right, I'm going to do a few of these light bulbs since I am just letting it, I am just going to let it dry while I go up and show you some other stuff. So let me try this green. I think this is the only green I have right now. And this one's called Holly. So I can do it up there on the Holly for sure. But I might as well do it on this light bulb as well. That's pretty. Okay, so I'm not sure. Do you think I should go through this line here? Probably right down the center of that wire. Maybe make a square around each one of these little holders. And do his holly up here. Maybe you can see this way over here. He is going to be so stinking cute. I'm going to probably be wishing I made the back side of him so I could have him up. But you know what? If I decide I'm going to use him, I even could put him somewhere like against a wall somewhere with a whole bunch of Disney characters all decked out in Christmas. I think that'd be pretty cool. All right, I better spin him around before I try to do the other side of the wire. I'll get my hands and things. Start down here. Like that, and then put the little square and this and the line. Okay, let's see. Wonder if I should put a little different color in on this also. I don't know. Just make it a little jazzier. Maybe so. So I'll put some of this in this one. Probably should do some more colors in his scarf too. Like I said, I don't plan on doing all of this because I know you guys are anxious for me to get up to the computer screen so you can see how easy it is to adjust these guys in Silhouette software. No matter what kind of machine you use. People can't seem to get over that you can use any machine with the software. It's kind of like buying Adobe Photoshop or something, you know? You can use it with any machine. So, because it'll save it as an SVG. And basically you need an SVG for Silhouette. You need it, well, you don't need it for Silhouette. You don't have to have it. But you need to use it for Brother Scan and Cut and all of those. So that is looking really good. All right, should I do one more thing? Should I put a little red on his shorts just so we can see how that's going to look? Sure. And then I'm done, I promise. Put a little red here. Let's start over on this side. Okay. Okay, he's looking super cute. All right. I can't stand it. I got to do one more thing and I promise. Oh no! I better just quit because I have these light bulbs to do too. But isn't that pretty? I love that light bulb color. Ugh, I'm sorry. I just got to do a few more things. I just really like doing this. Oh, I see I forgot this part of the green also here. This is such a pretty color. Oh, what is it called again? Pink taffeta. Very pretty. These stickles, even though these bottles are really, really tiny, they last a long time, I think. You can do quite a few projects with a bottle. All right, so the other thing I said I had to do is a little green on this, where I forgot it here, and then I really wanted to do the red of his hat. Will you guys mind? I got to. Just a little red of his hat, and then I'm done. I promise. Promise. But you know what? I didn't do his other glove either. Okay, I better quit. I didn't do his boots either. That's it. I promised you guys I'd quit. So I'll come back and finish this later and not make you guys have to watch the whole thing. So let me put him over here to dry. Try not to get my hands in them like I always do. And let's go up to my computer screen. Okay, before we go to my computer screen, I just wanted to show you that I found this Mickey on Google, and I right-click. Since this is just for my own private use, I feel I can use him. So I right-clicked and I copied the image, and then I opened up Silhouette. Let me get rid of this guy. And I right-clicked and I said paste. So there he is, and he came in pretty tiny, even though he's supposedly a large image. You know, when I look for images for print then cut, I always look for very, very large images. When I'm over there in the tools section, I ask it to look for large images. I don't want any of those tiny ones because they'll be a big blurry mess. So I'm going to make him as large as I want him to be. I think I made him like 20 inches tall, maybe something like that. All right, just like that. Oh, but that's the box size too, so let's just not mess with that yet. Let's come over here, all the way over to the right-hand side, to the trace panel. Looks like a piece of toast right here. I'm going to trace it, select the trace area, and just go ahead and select this trace area. And I'm going to move my threshold up a bit, just to make sure I'm getting everything well. And I'm going to say trace and detach. I always use trace and detach when I am doing a print then cut. So I clicked on trace and detach, and I'm going to let that finish. It's going to take him right out of there perfectly, and I can delete this extra box that I no longer need. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to resize him first, and I think I will make him hit the lock box. Remember, in Cricut Design Space, our lock always comes in locked. That's the default. But here in Silhouette, the default is unlocked. So I'm going to make him 20 inches tall, and his width will change proportionately. So there he is like that. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I think that I'll just make a duplicate of him by holding down my Alt key and dragging one over, putting him way over to the side. That's just in case I need him. But I probably will not. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, click on him to highlight him, and come over to the offset tool, which is the star over here, and click on the offset. And I'm just going to leave it at the default offset that it comes in at. And I'm going to change its color by coming up here and change it to white. So we have a nice white offset, and I will get rid of this outline color, the cut line color. I can either make it transparent by clicking here, or I can make it white by clicking here. Either one works. So now I'm going to grab both of these pieces and group them. Now, this is more important. I like to have an extra copy of this one, so I'm going to say Alt and drag him over. And I'm going to do one more. Alt and drag one more over, because the second one I dragged over, I'm just going to use for my backing of him. So I'm going to ungroup it, and I'm going to get rid of the colored version like that. And now I just have this part that I need, onto which I can build my Mickey if I'm just going to have two pieces like I did in my sample. So I need to save this over here. I'll be cutting this up like I did. Actually, I think I showed you how to do that, so I won't need to do that again. Look back earlier in the video where I show that part. So for him now, what I'm going to do is first I want to change my mat size. I'm going to use the large mat. I don't have a large cameo mat, but I substitute my large Cricut mat for this. So I'm going to come over here to the page setup, which is this top little button up here. And I'm going to change, my machine is still going to be the cameo. I'm going to change my cutting mat to 12 by 24. And my media size, the largest paper that I have to use, is 11 by 17. And that's not one of these sizes that's in here. So I have to go to custom. And then I type in 11 by 17. And since that's the last thing I use, that's what's showing here. The other thing I need to do is I need to come up here to the third button over on the page setup panel, click on that, and I need to put on my registration marks. Since this is a print then cut, I need to know where I can put my image so that it will print then cut and none of it will be cut off. So he's not going to fit on one sheet, obviously, because I've made him much larger. So I'm going to move these guys over a little further yet, bring him off the mat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the knife tool. So it's over here on the left-hand side, grab the knife. And I'm going to come up here and get the little bug tool, magnifier, and I'm going to grab in like this. So, as I said, I love, love, love using this program instead of Cricut Design Space to make my slices because I can make them look more realistic. They're not just big, flat, straight boxes that I have to put places. So watch. I have the knife tool. I have auto apply off, and I have poly on. So what, excuse me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around his head and hat, and that's going to be my first piece. So instead of, like I said, with Cricut Design Space, just being able to make straight across lines, watch what I can do. I can start here, and every time I click, I'm just adding a little node, and then I can come right around in here and do this. And I can just follow the outline of him. Since I'm going in the black, I might need to color on the in the edges of the cardstock when it's printed and cut, which is really easy to do before you tape anything together. Just take a Sharpie. Whoops, I don't need to go that far. And I can come right out here. Right there. Double click to end that. Then I'm going to hit apply up here. And now that's made that cut right there. So watch, I'm going to grab both of these top pieces, right click and group, and now I can move those off. And look how that's going to cut. Isn't that cool? I just love that. And watch, if we go over here, it's going to fit in my mat in the section that I have for cutting. And I probably could have cut a little bit more. Whoops, I need to group those back together. Let me undo that and group. I can't remember. I could have done a little bit more, but this will work. And then all I would do with this thing right here then is just make sure it's grouped, which it is. And I would go to send it. And while I'm here, I would say to grab it and say cut edge. So then it's just going to cut around the edge of the head perfectly, just like that. Got to make sure that none of this part goes up here in the checkered area or outside of these red lines. And if you don't have those red lines showing up on yours, let's go back to the design area. The way you make those show up is on the page setup panel, where you get that by clicking right here. The first one over is the page setup. And to get those lines so you know that you better not place anything outside of these red lines, you can come down here and check both of these things. So watch. Right now it's not checked, so you can't see those red lines. So you may be wondering, is that outside of this imaginary line here? Well, just check these and that will show you the line, and I can see that, yep, even though it doesn't appear that it's outside, I know that there's an offset on this that's outside. See that offset? That was outside of that red line, and that would have been cut off. So that's just like that, and I would make that. Okay, let's try the second part now. So let's see, what can we do? I think I'll work on his feet maybe first, and I think maybe the easiest way to do that would be to rotate this and see what's going to be able to fit on this. Whoops, I don't want to do that. What's going to fit on this mat? Okay, looks like it's going to fit like around his feet, and maybe I can go up around here and around his glove. So this is just a matter of personal preference. Let's see, I think I will do that, and I'll just cut right across here as well. So again, instead of having to do a straight cut right like this, I come over to the knife tool, I make sure it's on outline, it's on poly, and auto apply is not on. The reason why I uncheck auto apply is if I make a mistake, I like to be able to move the line around a little bit to suit my purposes. So let's see, I think I said I'm going to start right here, and I think I'll just go through this and come up here to this white glove, and then just start going around the glove a little bit. And again, if I stay in that black line, if I have any kind of problems, I can use the marker, and I should have scrolled in a little closer, but I could use the marker to hide any imperfections that I might have. So I'm going to stay on the black. Just come right out here, double click, and it doesn't look like anything happens because nothing has yet. I have to hit apply. Then I'll grab these two pieces and group them together and move them over. Oopsie, I did it again. Whenever you do that, you need to remember to group all the pieces back together. Group. Okay. Now I need to make sure, is this going to fit inside of that? And it sure is, because there's actually no offset right up here on this section, and it's going to fit perfectly. So let's go to make it and make sure there's nothing weird going on, or actually send. And if I say cut edge, okay, this was the problem that I told you I had about on my first one, that I had to use my X-Acto knife to fix it. But so I think what I'll do is I'll go back to design, and let's see, if I ungroup this and simplify it so there aren't so many nodes, I think I can get rid of this part right here. Let's see, let's scroll way in. I think I could get rid of all of this cut stuff in here by clicking on a node which changes it to a white box, which means it's editable. And then I can just hit delete, and it looks like now it's going to cut like this and go to here. So let's go to send and see if I'm correct. Yes, that is perfect. That is what I would prefer it to do. Not cut out this section in here. I don't think that section being cut out is necessary, and it may actually weaken your image. So I'm going to go back to design, make it a little smaller, and just double check it one last time. So I'll go to send. Cutting the outer edge, look at that, it's going to be perfect. Okay, so we can move this one out of the way. Oh, and since I messed with it again, I need to remember to group it. And you have to be careful because you can offset your offset if you're not careful, and that's what I actually did in my first one, if you noticed. All right, so this last one here, let's just double check and make sure it's going to fit. Okay, it's not going to fit that way. But I think if I go ahead and twirl it around some, we might have a problem here. So I'm remembering right now that I did do my original one in 4 pieces. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to do this one in 4 pieces too. And it looks like basically if I twirl this, all I'm going to have to do is get rid of this one light bulb right here and just have that on a separate smaller sheet. Darn. Let me roll this around one more time to make sure. It's not going to fit. Okay, hope nobody's yelling, Patty Ann, if you change it this way, it will fit. 'Cause I'm not seeing it fitting. Oh, wait. It might fit like this. Oh my gosh, it fits. Look at that. That is fitting. Sweet. Let's go to make it and see how it looks, or to send. All right, let's double check. Now we got some extra lines going on in here, so I'm not sure why. So I'm going to grab it all. I don't want all that stuff cutting. I just want to cut the edge. There we go. That's perfect. And now I can easily see these red lines here, and I can see that it's not going outside of that. So I can actually do this little guy in 3 pieces. So again, I would go to send, and since I'm using the, whoops, I'm already here. Since I'm using the cardstock that I buy from Staples, they actually call it cover stock. So I'm going to go ahead and use the cover stock setting. And my machine's not turned on right now, so it's not going to let me do all the business I usually like to do. But I would update, or I would make it speed a little faster because this is not really intricate. And that's all I would do, and I would cut it. And then if you go back to the beginning of the video, you'll see how I started putting these things together and how easy it is. But do you see how neat this is compared to what I would have had to cut in Cricut Design Space? I'm able to cut this thing so it looks so realistic when you put it back together that you don't have all those just little squares and square cuts that just show up so much more. And then if you're bedazzling the thing when you put it together, you can actually put some bedazzlement of some sort where these little lines are, maybe black marker or whatever you need to use, and it really doesn't show up at all. So that's pretty much it. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the little button. Don't forget, every Wednesday I go live with my mystery from Jean Frieda, my sister. It's been a lot of fun, and we've been making some really cute things. Can't wait to see what she has for me next week. Anyway, thanks again for joining me. Check out my links below if you're in the market to buy something. Please use my affiliate links. It helps to keep this Patty Ann's Place running. Also, think of joining us on Patreon. We have a lot of fun every Saturday morning. There are 2 different styles of the Patreon. One's just strictly Cricut, and the other one is using this business edition software for any machine. So again, thanks for joining me, you guys. See you again soon. Bye-bye.